Welcome to Volume 2 of Fulcrum Group's Microsoft Teams Tips and Tricks, our bi-weekly 30-minute Microsoft Teams training. In today's session, we're going to do a little bit of deeper dive into some of the Microsoft Teams functionality than we had in Volume 1. If you have questions, feel free to type those into the chat window, and at the end of the session, we'll get to those. So we're going to go ahead and now look at the agenda. On today's agenda, first off, we're going to go over how to get the video of Volume 1 of the Microsoft Teams tips and tricks. We'll go through that. We will go through a little bit of the Microsoft Teams Customer Success Kit with some tips and tools on communicating with your team now that you're on Microsoft Teams. We're going to go through a little bit of the official Microsoft Teams training videos. They are very succinct and easy to watch at your own leisure. And then we'll jump into some of the other functionality. A few of the things that I really love using is the notifications. There are certain things that I want to be notified about in Teams. And sometimes the notifications can get a little bit too busy and you may want to disable those. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how to use mentions and how you can use that to call people out in a conversation so that they're aware that they've been mentioned in a conversation. It's a really great way to make sure people are in the loop. And then our final tip will be how to make a three-way Teams call. So if you're calling someone, you can easily add one or more people to that call and make it a multi-person call. So we'll talk about that. And then our next tips and tricks training will be on Thursday, July 9th, same time. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get started. So our first thing was the tips and tricks volume 1. I'll send the link out in an email that's on our YouTube channel, and so you can watch that, or you can send it to any of your people who weren't able to attend last week. It's right at 30 minutes long, and we'll do our very best to keep today's right at 30 minutes as well. And then next up, we've got the Microsoft Success Kit, Customer Success Kit. This is a set of tools from Microsoft that helps you roll out Microsoft Teams to your to all of your users and give you some communication tools. One of the first things they have, oops, looks like we got one more attendee, so I'm going to let them in. All right, we've got Jeff. Jeff, good afternoon. We've just gotten started, so I'm going to put you on mute. All right. So the first up on the Customer Success Kit is the announcement email. And I'm going to go and find that if I can. Let's see. We'll get that started here. While we're waiting on that to start up, we will go on to some of the other ones here. There we go. Mike, good afternoon. We're going to have you put yourself on mute.
Okay.
All right. And we've got Mark. Mark, good afternoon. We're going to have you put yourself on mute as well as we go through things. So this is a sample of the Microsoft Teams Customer Success Kit. They've got their getting started guides. These are really great because they've got tips on the very first 10 things you can do in Teams. So it's a good primer to get things started. There is guides for specific departments. So how to use it with marketing, how to use it with the sales team, finance, HR, and some of your other departments as well. So really great tool to give you a primer on how to use Teams in those areas. So there are also some flyers and posters and some remote work guidance. So I'll come back over here. This is an example of one of the one-page flyers for how to use Microsoft Teams as a remote worker, and it kind of gives you an example of how you can use the mobile client for Teams, how you can use it to join various meetings, make calls, and do a lot of the other things inside of Teams, which is really a great thing that you can post around the office or send it to your users. And then the remote work checklist, I found this to be very useful because of the basics of working from home. Just a handful of guidance to remind people of the effectiveness of working from home and how to be productive in those environments. So I'll make sure to send a copy of a link to where you can download these tools. Next up on our list is the Microsoft Teams training videos. The great thing about these videos is they're short clips. A lot of them are 2 to 3 minutes long, and they don't take too much time. So, one of my favorites was starting chats and calls. This is a video that's just a few minutes in length. In fact, this one's only about a minute long, so very simple and straightforward. But they give you, if you're trying to learn how to use a specific feature and you want to just go and chunk that one piece down, it allows you to do that. So, and this is on the go. You can use it anytime. So I'll make sure to send the link to the training. Enabling and disabling notifications. This is what I think is important, and we're going to go through this step by step on how to do this. But you'll have it in the presentation as well. So I'm going to jump over here to my Teams window, and I'm now in my Teams window. I can click on my user profile. I can click on the settings button. That'll bring me up to the settings window. Over on the left menu, you'll see several different options. I'm going to choose notifications. And under notifications, you're going to notice several areas where you can change the notification types. So mentions, messages, other, highlights for you, meetings, and then we'll talk about the status as our pro tip for this week. So, but if you look in each of these different areas, you'll see different options. So like under mentions, if you're personally mentioned, you can have it send a banner up, which is just a notification inside of the Microsoft Teams. Or you could have it also send you an email if you're not logged into Teams. And we'll talk about how to set those settings. Or you can only show it in the feed if you want to do that. The feed, we'll jump out of here right quick, is this activity feed over here on the top left. So this gives you the feed of all the times that you've been notified. So we'll go back over here to our settings again. Go back in. And so under messages, things like chat messages, they're on. There could be other things where maybe you only want to be notified a certain way, or maybe you don't want to be notified at all. So, if there are channels that you're following that you don't want to be notified on, you can just show that in your feed. Team membership changes, for instance, you could turn that completely off. Maybe if you're in an organization with hundreds of users, you don't need to be notified of that. And the last thing I want to show you is a little bit of a pro tip, and that's the status. And that's where you can follow a person's status and get notified when they appear online, or excuse me, available or offline. And so if you're a supervisor of a specific person and maybe you're having some challenges with them and you just want to kind of get an idea of how they're doing, you can follow them here. So let's say I'm going to pick on Adrian today since he's one of my all-stars, but if I wanted to follow his notifications of when he becomes available or offline, I could turn that on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for now, but it's just one of those neat settings that you can do there. So, all right, let's get back to our presentation. So, all right, we're making very good time today, so we'll keep it rolling. We talked briefly earlier about mentions, and I wanted to kind of get into that a little bit more. And there are 3 different types of mentions inside of Microsoft Teams. One is that you can just type in the @ sign and then the name of the individual if you want to mention someone individually. Or you can type in the @ sign and the team name if you want to mention everyone in that team. Or you can type in the @ sign and the name of a channel to notify everyone who is favorited or is following that channel. So we'll go over there in Teams and look at those individually here. So first thing we'll do is we're going to go into chat. We're going to go into the Fulcrum Group's virtual sales office. Where is that at? I've got it over here somewhere. Sales team virtual office right here. So as you can see, it's just kind of a place for the Fulcrum Group sales team to hang out, and sometimes there are funny things and images that are popped in there. And but let's say I wanted to mention Jason about that. I could just type in start typing Jason, and now he's mentioned. That's a really funny picture. If I wanted to bring that up to the entire sales team, I can hit the @ sign and then type in sales. Guess I forgot how to, where we had that set up. I'm not going to do that one, but we can also do a channel. So let's look at some of our channels over here. Let's see. It's Fulcrum sales team, I think it is. Okay. Apparently I don't have that turned on right. So we'll come back to that one in a future session and get that. So sorry about that. All right, we'll go back to our presentation. So I'll get some more information on the @ team and @ channel and make sure to follow up with everyone on that. And then a final one here is 3-way calling inside of Microsoft Teams. So if you're in Microsoft Teams and you can just do an ad hoc call, just like calling someone on the phone. So if I'm over in Teams over here and I've got Adrian right here, and if I want to call him, I could just hit the video call button. I don't want to do that here because that'll put me on hold in our session right now, but I could do a video call or just an audio call with him if I wanted to. And then once I'm inside the call with him, then I would just be able to click the add people button, or just I guess it's what they have it show participants in the little dot down here. So and then from there you can type in the person that you want to, the name of the person that you want to add, And the good news is in Microsoft Teams, you can add multiple people to a call. So gives you the ability to have multiple people on a quick ad hoc video call or just an audio call, depending on your preference. So, all right. Those are all of the tips that I had for today. So do we have any questions for today? Let's pop back over in our session here. We had the comment from Drew that he knows Jason very well and knows that's very typical of him. So anybody else have any questions? If you do, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask away.
David, my one question is, as you know, our network's kind of a little different than anybody else. Is there a way with Teams to talk to different organizations?
There are some configurations that you can do to chat with other tenants. So other basically outside of your organization. So there's a little bit of configuration that has to be done, but it can definitely be done. So.
Thank you.
Okay. That's a great question though. Thanks, Mike. All right. Anybody else got any? I can join back over here and be in here. Anybody got a favorite tip or anything that they like specifically like to use? All right, you guys are very quiet today. So, all right, well, everybody's going to get 10 minutes of their day back. We'll record, we'll post this audio, the video once we get it completed on our YouTube channel. And we'll also send over the links to all the different things that we mentioned in this presentation. Reminder that our next session is on July 9th. So feel free to forward it on to anybody else in your team. If there's any particular topics that you want to hit, let me know and we'll make sure to hit those on the next session or one of the upcoming sessions. So, all right. Well, without that, we'll go ahead and end the video. And thanks everybody for joining today.